Bitcoin versus Ethereum versus Solana. What's the difference? Everyone in crypto knows the big names: Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana. But if you're new, they might all sound like the same thing. Just digital coins with fancy logos. The truth is, these three blockchains are completely different. Each has its own purpose, its own technology, and its own vision for the future. Today, we'll break it down simply: what they are, how they work, and what makes each one unique. By the end, you'll know exactly how Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Solana fit together in the story of crypto. Bitcoin, the beginning of it all. It all started with Bitcoin. In 2008, right after the global financial crisis, a mysterious person, or maybe a group, called Satoshi Nakamoto, released a white paper called Bitcoin, a peer-to-peer electronic cash system. The goal was simple but radical: create money that didn't need banks, governments, or middlemen, a currency powered entirely by code and community. Bitcoin runs on its own blockchain, a public digital ledger where every transaction is recorded for everyone to see. It uses something called proof of work, which means thousands of computers compete to solve complex puzzles. The winner adds a new block to the chain and earns freshly minted Bitcoin as a reward. This process is called mining, and it's what keeps Bitcoin secure. But it also makes it slow and energy heavy. Bitcoin can only handle about 7 transactions per second, far less than credit card networks like Visa. Yet despite its limitations, Bitcoin remains the foundation of crypto. It was often called digital gold because there are also limited supply. Only 21 million Bitcoin will ever exist. That scarcity gives it value, just like gold. So Bitcoin isn't really meant for fast transactions or apps. It's meant to be a store of value. Something you hold, like savings or an investment in digital trust. Bitcoin is the original, the first proof that decentralized money could actually work. Ethereum, the internet's programmable money. If Bitcoin was the first chapter of crypto, Ethereum was the sequel that changed the story. Created by Vitalik Buterin in 2015, Ethereum asked a bold question. What if blockchain could do more than just store money? Instead of being just a ledger of transactions, Ethereum became a programmable platform. It introduced smart contracts, self-executing code that runs when certain conditions are met. That's what allowed developers to build decentralized applications, or dApps, on top of Ethereum. From lending platforms to games to NFT marketplaces. It all started here. Ethereum runs on Ether, ETH, which powers the network and pays for transaction fees known as gas. Originally, Ethereum used the same proof-of-work system as Bitcoin, but it later upgraded to proof of stake, which is much faster and more energy efficient. Instead of mining with computers, users stake their ETH to help secure the network, and in return, they earn rewards. What makes Ethereum special is flexibility. It's not just a blockchain, it's an entire ecosystem. It's the foundation for DeFi, decentralized finance, NFTs, and Web3 applications. But that flexibility has a trade-off: speed and cost. Ethereum can be expensive to use when the network is busy and transactions can take time. That's why new blockchains started emerging, faster, cheaper, and more scalable. And one of those was Solana. The fast and fearless. Solana entered the scene in 2020 with a bold promise: speed without sacrifice. Where Bitcoin focuses on security and Ethereum focuses on flexibility, Solana focuses on performance. It can process thousands of transactions per second, sometimes more than 50,000, with fees so small you barely notice them. Solana's secret weapon is something called proof of history. Think of it as a built-in clock for the blockchain. It keeps all the computers perfectly synchronized, which means transactions don't have to wait their turn. They can be verified almost instantly. That's what makes Solana perfect for things like gaming, NFTs, and fast-paced DeFi. It's also incredibly developer-friendly, making it easier for creators to build apps, tokens, and new coins, like NAP, right on its blockchain. Solana's ecosystem has exploded with creativity. from decentralized exchanges to art markets to community-driven coins. Of course, being newer also means Solana is still growing. It's had network hiccups and challenges, but its potential is huge. It's the blockchain built for the modern internet. Fast, efficient, and ready for mass adoption. How they compare? Let's line them up side by side. Bitcoin, oldest and most secure, focuses on digital money and store of value. Slow but extremely reliable. Ethereum, the smart contract pioneer, flexible and open for builders, sometimes slower and more expensive, but constantly evolving. Solana, the speed demon, designed for apps, NFTs, and real-time transactions. Newer, faster, but still proving its long-term stability. Together, they represent the three pillars of crypto's evolution. Bitcoin is trust. Ethereum is innovation. Solana is speed, the big picture. These three aren't enemies, they're different tools for different purposes. Bitcoin protects value, Ethereum powers creativity, Solana accelerates the future. Each builds on the lessons of the one before. Without Bitcoin, there would be no Ethereum. Without Ethereum, there might never have been Solana. They're chapters in the same story. The story of how humans are redefining money, ownership, and the internet itself. The future of crypto. The truth is, there's no single winner. Instead, the future will likely be multi-chain. A world where many blockchains work together, connected through bridges and networks that let value move freely. You might use Bitcoin as your store of value, Ethereum for your creative projects, and Solana for fast daily transactions. Each one plays its part. So when people ask which coin is best, the real answer is, it depends on what you're building, what you believe in, and what you value most, creativity or speed. Conclusion. Bitcoin gave us digital trust. Ethereum gave us digital creativity. Solana gave us digital performance. Together, they've shaped the foundation for everything that comes next, from decentralized finance to gaming, art, and beyond. Understanding their differences isn't just about picking the right coin. It is about understanding the future of the internet itself. Produced by Crypto Merch, where blockchain meets lifestyle. Explore crypto culture, education, and style at cryptomerconline.com.